how to get everything accomplished in the classroom and also have a great time when you're around campus. So I'll turn over to Lance for a couple of moments.
Hi, everybody. Yeah, I'm Lance Thompson. I'm the Assistant Director of Student Involvement for Campus Activities. It's a lot of words to say. I work with clubs and organizations, kind of coordinating them, and I work with our Carthage Activities Board, which does a lot of the events on campus. And we collaborate with a lot of the other clubs and things like that as well. I have to leave this meeting in about 10 minutes because we have an event coming up where we're doing a live cooking demo with a chef from Green Bay who was on Next Top Food Network Chef Person show a bunch of years back. So we're gonna be doing that and at 8. So I'll be getting off this meeting a little bit early, but.
So much like Ashley mentioned, a lot of the things that have been happening on campus as far as your college search process is concerned have been moved virtual, and the same thing is true for life at Carthage. While we do have a small number of students who still are on campus, most of what we're doing is virtual. And so Lance and the CAB team have been really creative in thinking about ways that they can continue to offer opportunities for fun and exciting things to happen for Carthage students while everyone is in their respective safer at home locations. So if you check out, we'll share information about the student involvement and Carthage Activities Board social media outlets at the end of the presentation, but you'll be able to see information about the events that we've had during this virtual period. Also a couple of really cool cameo shout outs that we've been able to set up for our students, which has been really interesting, and we've gotten some great feedback about. We're just going to talk a little bit. I'm going to give you all an opportunity to take a look at a couple of virtual resources that we have for student involvement, which we also use when we're in person, but they just happen to come in particular handy while we're all away at this time. But I'm certain that all of you are more excited to hear from the current students. Evan, Cameron, and Kira have a lot of great information to share. They are absolute rock stars. So I'm so thankful to them for being able to be with us tonight. And we'll talk pretty quickly, but then give you an opportunity to really spend time hearing from them. And then if you have questions for me, I'm happy to answer them. And then we'll, send everyone on the way for a nice evening. So I'm gonna do a little screen share here. This is the first official screen share I've done for something like this, so bear with me. Here we go. Great. See, we learn something new together every day. So as I mentioned, we're going to talk just very quickly about student life at Carthage. I'm sure there's a lot that you know, or maybe more that you want to know about academics, but really what we're going to focus is the beyond part, the fun stuff. What are you going to do on the evenings and weekends? How are you going to meet your friends? What's there to do when you're, needing a break from studying, that type of thing. So there are a lot of different options as far as involvement outside the classroom is concerned. Some of them are very structured opportunities, things like student organizations that meet regularly, maybe weekly, maybe every other week. There are certain programs that aren't necessarily connected to membership in a specific organization, but things like orientation and the first year experience program are things that are structured programs that'll happen once to really get you acclimated to our campus community, provide you with a lot of resources, but also fit in with that opportunity for you to feel part of the community, make friends, meet people, that type of thing. The things that we want to talk the most about are student activities, the clubs and organizations, because that's really where there's a lot of opportunity for students to not only continue on with the things that they've been doing, maybe you're in a club or in a community organization in your current community or through your current school, but it's also a really great opportunity for you get to explore things that maybe you didn't know you had any interest in. We have more than 130 clubs and organizations on campus and are adding new ones every year. So I'm newer to Carthage. This is my first full academic year here, and the institution that I was at before didn't have a nope, that's not right. What's the bug club, Lance? I can never say the name. It's not the paleontology.
Entomology.
The entomology club.
There is a paleontology club.
There is a paleontology club, which is very cool, but the entomology club is the one that I didn't really know anything about. And so
club,
at the fall organization fair, which we host each semester, you get to meet everybody in person, hear about what the club's doing, and learn a little bit about how you can be a part of it. This fall, I got to meet the members of the entomology club, and they were also displaying some of their bugs, I guess is the best way to say it. They had a hissing cockroach that you could hold if that was something you were interested in. I learned that was not something I was interested in, but it was still a really cool experience to hear from these students who are passionate about the topic, and learned that I do not, in fact, enjoy being around bugs. So it was a great experience for everybody involved. But the alternative could have been true, and maybe I found out that I'm a cockroach aficionado, and that would have been an area of myself that I hadn't explored before. So we really encourage everybody to think broadly about being involved in the things that you know you already like and feel passionately about, but also thinking about what are things that are totally outside your comfort zone or off the wall that maybe you'd never considered before, but are worth giving a shot. So right now in particular, it's super important that we're able to stay connected and keeping everyone informed. And as far as student involvement is concerned, we have two aspects of the college's website or extensions of the website that are key to that. The harbor and then the bridge. Being so close to Lake Michigan, there are no shortage of lake puns and terms used here at Carthage. The harbor is our online student involvement platform, which I'm going to actually click over live and show you a couple things because I think it could be really helpful even for those of you who don't have a Carthage login if you're not an enrolled student yet. There's still a lot of information for you to learn. So hopefully this goes a little more smoothly than my PowerPoint execution. So we're going to go right.
And all of you can go to the site as well. And there's obviously some things that you won't be able to get into, but you can look at all the clubs on this harbor site. It's harbor.carthage.edu, and you can check out there's a lot of information that the public can see.
Yeah, so I'm going to switch over my screen here. So we like to have a little bit of a sense of humor too. So if anybody gets the reference here with the sorry folks, but a lot is closed right now. But when you visit the link that Lance just mentioned, you're going to be taken to the Harbor main page. So there are a lot of really great features that I like about the way the organizations are listed on the Harbor. One, because it's a real-time list. While we work really, really hard to make sure carthage.edu is up to date with all the information that you need to know, the process for establishing new student organizations is pretty quick, but it also involves approval from student government. And those meetings happen at 9 p.m. And so sometimes a new organization all of a sudden exists at 11 p.m. And it's a lot easier to make sure that that's reflected here on the Harbor. And it might take us a couple days to do that on the college website. So when you go to the organizations list, and you can see this even without a login, you'll be able to see the profiles for all student organizations that we currently recognize. But you also have the opportunity to search by category. So if you're someone who's super involved in civic engagement or politics, you can take a look and see what organizations are at Carthage that I might be interested in based on that experience. So this is a really great thing to do because not only does it give you a sense of what organizations exist, but it might give you some insight into an organization that isn't yet on campus. And if it's something that you're passionate about or something that you might want to see here at Carthage, you can go to this register an organization and we can talk to you about the process for establishing a new group on campus, talk about the resources that exist associated with that, and also get you connected to some other students who maybe expressed interest in a similar topic. So this is a really cool thing just to go through and take a look and see. If you click on the individual organizations' profiles, some organizations are better than others about making sure all their information is up to date. Unfortunately, a lot of them will say no upcoming events because with everything being virtual and the time of the year, the semester is really winding down. You can get basic information about what is this organization, what do they do. You can click past events and take a look and see what are the things that they've done in the past. So that's a really great feature of the Harbor when you're just looking to get involved. But once you actually get involved, it's also really helpful because when you're able to log in and you go to your home page, it keeps everything that you're involved in all consolidated in one place. So I have access to all these organizations like Student Involvement, our department, the Carthage Activities Board, IFC and Panhellenic are the governing councils for the fraternities and sororities, which I advise. The Horticulture Club is just super cool, so I got added to their list. So instead of having to check multiple email listservs or things like that, everything you need to know about upcoming events and activities for all your groups is right here. You can also scroll down a little further and see the upcoming events that are happening that are open to the campus. So as Lance mentioned, there's a virtual cooking thing that's happening in 20 minutes, 15 minutes. So you can get information about how to participate in those things too. One thing that we've noticed is that students like to keep track of the involvement opportunities that they've had so that they can see the progression. Maybe as a first year student, you were just a general member, but then you became treasurer of an organization, or you want to start logging your community service hours so you can keep track of those things. If you scroll up to, it'll either be your initials or your little picture once you're able to log in. You can go down here and click on the co-curricular transcript. And the system keeps a really nice log of everything that you've ever done. So you can see here my little involvement in IFC and Panhellenic, scrolling down to some of the other organizations. And if your organization chooses to use the system to track community service hours, which some of them do, that'll appear here too. So this is a nice thing that you have the opportunity to print or download as a PDF, which could be a really nice thing as a supplement to a graduate school application, or something that you can print off and take to our Aspire Center and say, how can I craft some of these experiences into a response to an essay question, or help them be incorporated in my resume when we get started looking for positions after your time at college. So a lot of really great individual tools that will serve you in the long term too. So we like to promote that feature right out of the gate, so you can know right when you get to campus, as soon as you start being involved. It's really helpful if you keep kind of logging things in the Harbor. The other thing I mentioned, the bridge. So the bridge is both an email that goes out Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and then just a website on carthage.edu that has events about everything that happens on campus. But the specific thing that I wanted to feature here is the student news. So student organizations, or just general things that are applicable to students, will show up here. And it's a really great way to get news about potential scholarships that are available, events that are coming up, updates about potential changes to the food service department hours, those types of things. So these two, the Harbor and the bridge, are really kind of our go-to areas for knowing what's happening outside the classroom. All right, so I'm gonna switch my share again here and go back to my presentation now that I know what I'm sort of doing. So as I said, this is just kind of a quick overview of everything that goes on in the Harbor. I think the things that are really nice are that really central place where you can go to get a lot of information about all the clubs and organizations. And I want to reinforce that this isn't something that you should just peruse when you're a first year student. Oh, my cat has joined us. When you're a first year student, or when you're looking to join a new club at the start of the semester. At any given point, if you're interested in joining a new organization or learning more about what a group is doing, it's always a great opportunity to reach out. It's not uncommon for students who are juniors or seniors to decide they want to join another organization and take advantage of that opportunity. So definitely make that something that's part of your regular experience, so you can know what's happening around campus and ways that you can be involved outside the classroom. So I talked for a little longer than I wanted to because of my little technical difficulties. So I am going to turn things over to our three students who I've mentioned already, because they are the ones who really have a lot of great information that they can share. They're living every day what it means to be a Carthage student. And so I think Ashley is going to go ahead for us and moderate the questions that you might have for them. But I'll be here as well. So if they need any help, I'm happy to jump in, but can also answer any questions at the very end of the presentation as well. So thank you to Kira and Cameron. And I'm not sure if Evan's still here or if he had to pop off, but I appreciate those of you being here and being able to share your thoughts and best advice with our guests tonight.
Awesome. Thank you, Liz. Loved all the information and loved seeing your cat. So current students, it's so good to see you. We miss you so much on campus. And so why don't we start, if each one of you wants to unmute yourself, why don't you tell the group, a little bit about yourself, where you're from, what your major is, your year, and a fun fact about yourself. But so go ahead.
Hello.
Kira, you can go first.
Okay, I'll go. So hi, I'm Kiera. I'm currently a sophomore. My major is criminal justice with a minor in psychology. I'm from Kenosha, born and raised. And fun fact, I actually started out as a theater major and then switched to criminal justice. And that's all.
Hello, my name is Evan Blevernicht. I'm from Teutopolis, Illinois, which is a very, very, very small town in central Illinois. I'm currently studying international political economy and accounting with a minor in Spanish. And a fun fact about me is, this is one I always say, but when I was a kid, I thought that I was the only one who knew Hannah Montana's secret.
I'm Cameron Eichstead. I'm from Rockford, Illinois. I'm a freshman majoring in neuroscience and minoring in psychology. And fun fact about me, I took German for 6 years in high school.
Awesome. Thanks, you guys. So for all the students who are listening to the webinar right now, you can use the chat feature at the bottom, or there's also a Q&A section, and then I can read those to the group. But one of the questions was, is it easy to reach out to clubs and organization leaders to get more information?
So I had originally typed that, yes, it is really easy. One way is the Harbor. You can search the organization and you can find the president or another member of the cabinet or EBoard. Another way that you can easily find someone is we have a Facebook group. There's multiple Facebook groups that you can be a part of as a Carthage student. I know Overheard at Carthage is a really good tool to use to find people and organize organizations too. But yeah, that was the one I wanted to talk about, the Facebook groups.
I learned that it's easiest to just go to the meeting and talk to the EBoard members there. That's how I became part of CAB. I went to the meeting because I had a question and I automatically loved it. So if you have questions about it, you just show up and see how it feels, ask your questions, and it'll all work out.
Great.
For me, a lot of the EBoard members were actually in my classes. And so I would just, ask them any questions that I had. And actually, a lot of the clubs that I got introduced to were through my classes. So that's also nice.
Thank you. The next question is, how often do most clubs meet?
It really depends. Most organizations meet weekly, but I've also been a part of organizations that meet bi-weekly. That's typically the structure of organizations, weekly or bi-weekly. Oh, also, if you're part of an organization, there are certain organizations that have a structured plan. So if you want to be a part of the three main organizations on campus, CAB, student government, and MUN, they've organized it intentionally so that you can be a part of all three, and that the timing is staggered.
Okay. Do most of your clubs and organizations meet on or off campus?
I found that they usually meet on campus. There are some organizations like Alpha Phi Omega, it's a service fraternity, and they tend to have some things that are off campus, some service projects, but usually the meetings are on campus.
Awesome. So, this is a good question that one of the students just asked. What if I want to start a club or organization that I don't see that's currently being offered?
So I was the student government liaison for organizations. So I know the process a little bit, but not amazing. And it's changed slightly. So I probably, but essentially what you have to do, and Liz can correct me if I'm wrong, is you have to first find people that are interested. And I can use an example of an organization that I'm currently in the process of, well, I'm not going to, but I'm going to soon. Minecraft Monday. You have to find people who are interested. So I have 5 friends who all like the organization. then you have to start a 30-day trial. So you have to first tell like Lance and Liz that you're starting an organization.
We actually eliminated the 30-day trial to make it go a little bit faster. Do you want me to jump in or do you want to keep going?
Yeah, you should save me.
Okay, sorry. So this is brand new. These were changes that actually went into effect this semester. And given things are happening virtually, we haven't had as regular of an increase in the number of organizations wanting to be registered as we normally do. So normally we see about 5 requests for recognition a semester, and I think this semester we've only had 2. But so what Evan mentioned is there used to be a 30-day trial where you would basically run your organization for 30 days to kind of see how it goes and try and learn the ropes before you could receive full recognition. But we've eliminated that trial because we want to make it something that's easier and to happen more quickly for students. So if you visit the Harbor, there is a little button on the organization page that says register a new organization, and you fill out that information, the information that's on the form. And a lot of the information that Evan said is true. You still need to find other students who are interested. We do need every organization to have a faculty or staff advisor. So we work with faculty and staff to see if maybe there's someone who is interested in serving as your advisor, or if you know of a faculty or staff member who would, you have a relationship with, that's great too. We ask for, oh, my cat's back again. We ask for a constitution and bylaws, and we do have templates for those. So those are just the governing documents that will really indicate to us how your organization runs. And when you submit all that through the Harbor, we take a look at it and make sure the criteria for recognition are really pretty simple things. It's making sure that we don't have another organization that's fulfilling that same mission. We want to be mindful of the way we're using our resources, and having 2 organizations that are going to compete for funding and potentially membership is something that we're considerate of. And also that it's not something that's offensive or potentially dangerous or anything like that. So we are very open-minded as a campus and want to have different viewpoints represented, but we want to be respectful in the way that we do that. So once all that stuff happens and we approve the form, it does go to student government, like I mentioned at the start, and they give their stamp of approval to say, yes, this organization is recognized. And then the nice thing about student government offering their approval is then that group is eligible to apply for funding. So you can get financial support from student government to host programs, to purchase supplies that you might need, and make sure that you can get the word out about your organization being new on campus. So we try and make it as painless as possible. And Lance and I are both here every step of the way to help anybody who's interested in establishing a new group. So if you have questions, we're happy to answer them now, or once you get to campus, we'd love to chat about it then too.
Yeah, I just want to say what Liz says is true. There's always someone to help you. You have whichever student government rep, whatever student government rep there is, and you also have Liz, you also have Lance, and we're all like smiley faces. So you definitely always have support.
Liz, this question might be for you because I know you oversee this area, but is there a Greek life on campus?
There is. So fraternity and sorority life makes up about 20% of the campus community, which for a campus our size is pretty robust. We have a combination of nationally recognized organizations, so organizations that have chapters here at Carthage and then at other schools across the country. But then we also have a pretty high number of local organizations, meaning the chapter here at Carthage is the only one that exists. So those are great opportunities to be involved for the social experience, for the service associated with it. Both all the fraternities and sororities have community service requirements, and oftentimes they do those projects together. All the groups are in some way connected to a philanthropic organization in the area, and will work to raise funds and awareness for those groups. So for the national groups, oftentimes their philanthropy is informed by the national umbrella organization, but our local groups work with more local agencies. So if you're familiar with the Kenosha area, that's a great way to know about the connections that Carthage has to the community. None of our chapters have official fraternity or sorority houses, so that does offer an added layer of flexibility compared to folks you might know who go to big state schools where if you join a chapter, you're required at some point to live in the chapter house. You can, as a commuter student, are more than welcome to join a fraternity or sorority and live at home with your loved ones, or live on campus in a single or with someone who's not affiliated. There are a lot of options and flexibility there. an important thing to know as a first-year student that our campus is what we call a deferred recruitment campus. So we ask that you take the first semester in the fall to get acclimated to your academic load, learn about other clubs and organizations, and then wait till the spring semester to be able to join a fraternity or sorority. If you're a transfer student, that looks a little bit different, so I'd be happy to talk about that, but that's kind of the high points. So if you have questions about fraternity or sorority life, I'd be happy to go more in depth about groups that you might want to know about or what that experience looks like. But I will say in my experience, it offers a lot to enhance the experience of the students who are involved at Carthage. And it's definitely something that's viewed as a really great supplement to the time that they're spending at Carthage. Some other institutions, if you join a fraternity or sorority, that's kind of the thing that you do outside the classroom while you're there. But there are students who are athletes involved in very rigorous majors, who are presidents of other organizations, who do a lot of other things. So totally manageable if it's something that you want to do and also be a part of other programs.
Awesome. Thanks, Liz. So does the school organize trips to places to Chicago, Milwaukee for theater, sporting events, concerts?
I know that since I'm a part of the Carthage Activities Board, I feel like I can answer this really well. We actually have bus trips that we can take out to, I think we went to see the Lion King at one point this past semester. We also went to Six Flags. We went to all these places and they were only short little transportation fees. But other than that, yeah, like we go other places, we see things, there's options all over the place that you can leave to go experience the cities around you.
Yeah, and so just to add on to that, to kind of clarify what Cameron mentioned about the cost. So oftentimes what will happen when CAB hosts an off-campus trip is it'll be like a $5 or $10 either deposit that you may get back if you do attend the trip to hold your spot, or just to contribute to the transportation. To get from Kenosha to Chicago for $5 seems like a really great deal to me. And then to be able to do things like in the past, we had Lance did a great job of getting tickets to Dear Evan Hansen in Chicago. As Cameron mentioned, the Lion King in Milwaukee. Yeah, as Evan said in the chat, a friend went to Dear Evan Hansen for $15. Sometimes sporting events, so it's not just theater and music, it really depends. So we have things like that that go on. There are also some kind of more local trips. If you're familiar with the Kenosha area, we'll work to get transportation from campus down to the harbor market if you want to go shopping at the farmer's market, or Jerry Smith's pumpkin farm is always a prime destination when the weather turns a little bit cooler. So there's a lot of stuff that happens off campus as well that you're welcome to participate in.
Awesome. I was able to go to the Lion King with you guys back here in February. It was an awesome experience for $15. So, are there membership dues for the clubs and organizations?
I'll take that one and then anybody else can weigh in because that's kind of intricate. So for some organizations, there are, particularly groups like the fraternities or sororities, there are membership dues, or groups that are affiliated with a national organization. So if you're asked to be a member of an honor society or something like that, sometimes there's an induction fee or something like that. But the way that I like to explain it is that the dues and fees that are collected by these organizations are used to enable the group to operate and to be able to support opportunities that you likely wouldn't otherwise be able to get right away. So some of these off-campus trips are good examples. If a fraternity or a sorority were to host an event off campus, it's helpful for them to have the funds to be able to do that kind of on the front end, to be able to book a bus and make a group arrangement. And it also is much more clearly articulated what the dues are. So you will always be made aware of what the dues or fees associated with membership in a group are before you even commit to joining. So that way you can plan and know that it's something that actually works for you. But that way, instead of them saying, hey, we're going to go to Jerry Smith's pumpkin patch and it's going to cost everyone $10. We're going on Friday. I need it on Wednesday. And then the following week say, hey, we're going to the Lion King. I need $20. You can kind of plan for that more appropriately. So not all organizations collect dues and fees. It's really a subset of them that do. And we work with them to make sure they communicate that very clearly. but there are a lot of organizations that don't. And for the ones that do, we really work with them to make sure that the fees are nominal so that it's reasonable for you all, to make sure that that finances aren't a barrier.
Thanks, Liz. So one student has a question, you know, how many clubs and organizations do you recommend for a student? Like, did any of you get too overly involved or not involved enough? You know, kind of what are your personal experiences with that?
So for me, my freshman year, I was definitely the person that got too involved. So I definitely would say do as much as you can handle. Remember your academics come first. That's, you know, you're kind of your main focus of why you're in college, just to, you know, get an education. So just make sure that your academics don't fall to the side. But yeah, feel free to join as many clubs as you want. A lot of the clubs are very flexible with your attendance, so they're not going to require you to be at every meeting and every event, because they understand that you, of course, have academics. So they're very flexible about that. And if you do miss a meeting, they send out the meeting minutes and let you know what's going on. So yeah, I would just get involved in as many as you want. Just make sure your academics stay number one and don't fall.
I completely agree. So one thing that I always say is you can join all the organizations you want, and like you can do it for whatever reason you want to, but at the end of the day, it all comes down to time management, and you really have to, what is better in my opinion is that you find one or two organizations that you just love an insane amount, and you put all of your effort into those two organizations, and then eventually you can become a president or any sort of leadership position in that organization, and you made really good strides in that organization, instead of spreading your time and spreading your energy to a bunch of organizations. So I would say, in my opinion, it's better just to find a couple organizations that you can really put your time into, because you'll see that the effort that you put in is the effort that you'll get from it.
I also want to add on to that. If you start off with maybe one in your first semester on campus, like Liz says, there's organization fairs every semester. So if you choose to do one organization your first semester there, and you decide you want to do something more, you could always go to that organization fair and see what else is out there for you.
Awesome, thank you. So one student has asked, can you talk about the professional versus social Greek life, or the academic?
Yeah, I think that's going to be me again. So that's a great question. And that's definitely something that varies from campus to campus. I think the other thing that's also in the mix with that is Alpha Phi Omega, which is our co-ed service fraternity, which I think Cameron mentioned before. So you can be a member of a social Greek letter organization and also be a member of a professional Greek letter organization, an honor society, and the community service fraternity. So that may encroach on the time management things that were just mentioned by our students. But the social fraternities and sororities are more focused on like the social experience and forming connections in brotherhood and sisterhood, making connections in the community. So thinking about things like community service and philanthropic work in our area. There's definitely a large alumni network for a lot of those organizations too. But the focus is a little bit more social versus the business fraternities or professional fraternities. Some of them have requirements that you be declared in a certain major or have accomplished a certain level of coursework in a certain major to be eligible to join. And that is also separate from honor society, which honor societies are very much kind of invitation. Oftentimes members are in junior or senior standing and have achieved a certain level of coursework and likely a certain GPA, and it's kind of recognizing the academic accomplishments that you've had within that area of study. So you could be, I'm thinking about one student in particular who's a member of Chi Omega, which is one of our social sororities, also had served as, sorry, come on, Winnie, as president of Alpha Phi Omega, which is the co-ed service fraternity. And though I don't know off the top of my head, I would venture to guess was also probably connected to some honor society. We also do have a couple of honor societies that aren't necessarily connected to an academic department. So Omicron Delta Kappa is our leadership honor society. It is reserved for junior and senior students, but that's something that's based on kind of your overall involvement on campus, not just one department. And Carthage has a ton of academic honor societies. I think there's one for pretty much every academic department that we have. So if that's something that you strive for, it's definitely a good idea to kind of think about even though you might not be eligible for membership right away, start thinking about your first or second year. I will say though that honor societies are a little bit different in that they might not necessarily have a ton of events. Some of them you're just inducted and you're a member and it's a great network to be a part of, but it's not going to be something that they meet weekly. Some of them definitely do, but that's not always the case.
Awesome. Thanks, Liz. So one student asked, what events do you guys have on campus?
Okay, so I kind of answered this in the text, but like I said, I'm a part of the Carthage Activities Board, and we always strive to bring like different performers. Like we have comedians, magicians, musicians, hypnotists, all that sort of jazz all the time. And in addition to that, we also have monthly open mic nights and monthly movie nights where cost is completely free for all of those. So you can come and just hang out with your friends and you could watch a movie, or we also hold Pinterest nights too, where we can do crafts. So yeah.
I will say I want to jump in. Cameron did a great job, but as I said, as a newer Carthaginian, one thing that really jumped out to me that's very popular with our students is on-campus bingo. And we've actually been able to move that to a virtual format. So we've hosted a couple of bingos during our virtual instruction period, but I was shocked when during the first 2 weeks of the fall semester, we had over 900 students on campus, many of them in their pajamas, ready to play bingo. And there are awesome prizes. There's once again no cost there, but that's something that's really cool. And there are also a lot of larger scale things that we try and do throughout the course of the year. So we've had in the last couple of years some on-campus concerts that are either free or very affordable for Carthage students. So T-Pain, I think Jesse McCartney, and this year we had Allie and AJ on campus. We also have a big event called President's Ball, which unfortunately was postponed until the fall, but we're looking forward to bringing that back. Just a great opportunity to get dressed up. It's a fun theme, dance and have food and all that good stuff. So a lot of very different things. I think if anybody says that they're bored on campus, they're probably just not looking very hard at the posters around, because there's always something to do and very different things. But bingo has been one of the things that has jumped out to me, because I couldn't believe that we had that many people show up, but everybody loves it and gets very into it. And you'll hear a lot of cheering when certain people win and some booing when the good prizes go, but it's all in good fun. It's really cool.
So I wanted to add a little bit too. There's like a wide array of like events on campus. Some of my favorites include the drag show. There's always one in December, or it's the late, yeah. That is always amazing. A lot of people come out to that. It's hosted by 3 Greek organizations on campus. Last year, they raised close to $2,000, probably more than that. And there's student performers, and there's also professional performers. And there's also departmental events too. So I'm really good friends with music theater people and with people in the fine arts. So I always go to gallery showings. I see my friends' art in the Johnson Art Center. There's usually like shows where there's food. And then I kind of want to answer Jerry's question, where some faculty do attend some of these events. It's some of the more formal events that they show up to, and it's some that are related more towards like departments that they run. But yeah, there's everything you could ever imagine vis-a-vis events and programs on campus. Also, RAs have to do programs, so if you live on campus, definitely attend your RA's event, because we need people to show up.
Awesome. Thank you, guys. So what has been your favorite bingo prize that you have won? Have any of you won?
Never won.
I got a keychain.
So I will say I am obviously not eligible to win at bingo, but we've had prizes like televisions, bikes. The bingo before Halloween, we had a ton of different like costume options, which was really cool. Lance, it does a really good job of thinking of creative themes for, well, CAB in general, but I know Lance has this like arsenal list of all the cool themes for bingo that he'd like to see happen. So sometimes the prizes are according to that. The first bingo that we had virtually was stay at home, comfy stuff, because we knew everybody was doing that, and all those prizes got shipped to everybody. So I think there were a lot of Snuggies and DVDs and that type of thing. But there are some like big ticket items, some very cool prizes. There are the keychains, and I think one time somebody did get an empty box, but that was just kind of a trick. But you never know what you're gonna get, and it is really cool to see how excited people get, and how disappointed people get when the big prizes go.
Awesome. So what intramurals are the best to play, or what are the options?
So there's a few intramurals, and I don't know them off the top of my head, but I know some of my friends are part of intramural volleyball, and that one is always super, super fun. I was a part of the ultimate frisbee intramural, but I was very bad at it, so I very quickly dropped it. But it was still a lot of fun, and the one thing that I did learn from that experience is that you can show up to any of the intramural like practices or stuff like that, and they'll accept you completely no matter what your skill level's at. They'll let you join. They'll pretend like you're a part of the team. They'll really make you feel like you're a part of the team, and you can just go into something that you have no idea what to do, and it's a great experience. I was just too busy for ultimate frisbee. Also, I was bad at it, but it's whatever.
I personally don't play any intramural sports. However, my friends, like I think probably 5 of them, were a part of a beach volleyball team, and it was really fun to go watch them play beach volleyball. So I think that's a good idea for you guys if you choose to come.
Yeah, so we do have 2 beach volleyball areas on campus, which is really nice. I think the answer to that question can be a little bit more broad, because there are some athletic opportunities that aren't NCAA, but also aren't intramurals. So we have a curling club that actively participates in bonspiels throughout the area. So if you're a curler or want to learn how to curl, that's an option. We do have an ice hockey club team that plays in an adult league in the Kenosha area. We don't have a rink on campus, but they do play in a league that's not far from campus. And then there are also a lot of other organizations that are, kickboxing, different workout opportunities. There's a rock climbing club, but then we do have the typical I am volleyball, I am basketball, those types of things. Water polo there's a water polo club if that's something that you're interested in learning about too. So there's a lot of different opportunities as far as athletic involvement is concerned. You can also, if you want, try and join the spirit team and be one of the secret Torchies. Torchy, our mascot, the identity of whoever is in the mascot uniform is kept secret until those folks graduate. So that's kind of a cool thing, kind of unique to Carthage to know about.
Thank you. So we've had a lot of great questions here tonight, but we do have to wrap it up here within the next few minutes. And so for my 3 students, what has been your favorite Carthage memory or tradition?
My favorite Carthage memory was actually a club. I was on the mock trial team. And basically like every month we were travel to a different city and compete with a bunch of other schools. And it was just fun. I love politics and the criminal justice system and all that stuff. So being able to do that with like a bunch of students who also share that same passion was so much fun. And then meeting other people from different schools, it was the best time.
I think mine would have to be the late night breakfast before finals. So like there's 2 different waves. There's 9 o'clock and 10 o'clock at night, right? The day before finals, and you go to the cafeteria and all of the faculty and like even President Swallow is serving you breakfast in the middle of the night as a break for your final studying. So I think that was pretty fun.
So I have a few. The first is something a tradition that I thought I was going to be a part of, except I probably won't be able to, was Swinsgiving. So I lived in Swinson Residence Hall my freshman year, and the RA was a tradition that they save all of their RA money because you get a small stipend for programs and such, and have a blowout Thanksgiving party called Swinsgiving. And that was really fun because you get to meet all the people on the floor, and you get to just have a great meal with all the people that you may not have known. And Swinson is no longer a housing option. I was going to be RA, but now I was moved to the Oaks. So it's not going to be tradition anymore. So that's one I miss. But one that will continue is Christmas Fest. There's music, there's brilliant decorations. It's one of the best things to look forward to as a Carthaginian.
Awesome. Thank you guys, for all of your great information here this evening. We're so glad that we get to see you, and we can't wait to welcome you back on campus here shortly. But if for the students who are watching, this will be available starting tomorrow on our website. Liz has shared with you the information of how to follow up and also to follow them on Instagram to see all the cool things that are happening. But we can't wait to welcome you on campus in person. But until then, please continue to stay safe and healthy. Thanks everyone for joining us tonight. Liz, we just had someone ask about how to become Torchy.
Oh, I think the Spirit team actually has a table at both of the involvement fairs, but there's a specific staff person. They're also the coach of the dance team. Amy, I will butcher their last name. It starts with an M, is listed on the athletics website, and Amy is the one who oversees the process for Torchy and the other Spirit initiatives. If they want to send me an email at the studentinvolvement@carthage.edu email that's right here, I'm happy to type her last name out because I won't say it right, so it'll get lost in translation.
Yeah, awesome.
Great. Well, and if others have questions, feel free to reach out to us here or check out our involvement and student activities or campus activities board Instagram. Also, you can contact us through the Harbor. We're more than happy to answer any questions that you have, address any things that you want to know about campus life. And also thank you again so much to Kira, Cameron, and Evan. I appreciate so much you all giving your time to be here and to share your expertise and wisdom. We're so appreciative. And as Ashley said, it is great to see your faces. I can't wait to see you all in person soon.
It's going to be awesome. We can't wait to have you back.
Yes.
All right. Thanks, everyone. Have a great night. I will end this meeting now. So
thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
It's so good to see all of you.